But let's start tonight with the local and state election results. And in the race for the governor's mansion, it looks like Bob Ferguson is going to be leading the state for the next 4 years. He's currently polling 56% of the votes recorded so far tonight. And in the race for the United States Senate, incumbent Senator Maria Cantwell seems to be comfortably re-elected. Of the results announced so far, she is polling just under 60% of the votes counted. And in the very hotly contested race for the United States Washington Congressional District 4 election, incumbent Representative Dan Newhouse would appear to be just hanging on to a very slim lead. He's on just over 50% of the votes in the latest count. And in the election for the United States Washington Congressional District 8, incumbent Representative Democrat Kim Schreier would appear to be comfortably re-elected with just under 55% of the votes counted. Let's turn our attention now to the local county races, and in the election for the Legislative District 14 Senate seat, it looks like Republican Curtis King has taken the race. The incumbent senator is standing on 54% of the votes cast, ahead of his opponent Maria Beltran, who's behind on 46%. In the race for District 14's Legislative Representative Position 1, Republican Gloria Mendoza would appear to have taken that seat. She has polled 54% of the votes in the first results released tonight. And in the race for District 14's Legislative Representative Position 2, the other Republican, Deb Manjaras, leads comfortably in her race. She's standing on just under 52% of the votes counted so far tonight. With the polls officially closed, we went out to talk with some of the candidates. Our reporter Mallory Aldrich spoke with one of the local candidates, Chris Corey, earlier, and here's what they talked about.
Thanks, John. I'm here with Republican Chris Corey, one of the candidates for Legislative District 15, Representative Position 1. So, Chris, how are you feeling about the election so far?
Feeling good so far. We've got a couple hundred really excited friends, family, just ready to cheer on the results as they're coming in throughout the night.
Awesome. And then since you're currently this representative for District 14, if you win, do you think it will be any different from representing District 14 between 15?
No, it's still Central Washington. Lines change a little bit, but I represent our entire community, whether or not you're on the 14th or the 15th side, so I'm looking forward to continuing that in Olympia.
Nice. And then although the polls are closed, it's going to be a bit before those results come out. So what are you going to do while you're waiting?
Well, I got 4 kids. I got a day job. We're going to keep busy, but of course I'll be checking that website every day as the results come in over the next week.
Perfect. All right. Thank you again for speaking with me. And John, back to you.
Thanks, Mallory. And in that race for District 15's Legislative Representative Position 1, Chris Corey has taken very easily that race, recording 73% of the votes counted so far tonight, almost 74%. And in the race for District 15's Legislative Representative Position 2, Jeremy Dufault, the former representative for this position, that Republican there, would also appear to be very comfortably ahead of his opponent. He's got just 73% of the votes counted so far. 2 Yakima districts have elected county commissioners today. In the race for District 2, Republican Carl Curtis has won re-election somewhat comfortably against his Democrat opponent, Susan Soto Palmer. Curtis has polled 59% of the votes recorded thus far tonight. And in the County Commissioner District 3 election, which was possibly the most bitterly contested, it was a big win for incumbent Republican Ladon Lindy, winning what was at times very contentious race against his Republican opponent Elpidia Saavedra. Lindy has polled 67% of the votes counted so far tonight. Well, let's take a look at the election results for the other Washington state offices, starting with the race for Lieutenant Governor. The Democrat Denny Heck has polled just under 60% of the votes tabulated, with Dan Matthews trailing with just under 44%. And in the election for Secretary of State, the Democrat Steve Hobbs appears to be very safely elected with just under 60% of the votes counted so far tonight, with Republican Dale Whitaker trailing on 40%. In the election for State Treasurer, the Democrat is also comfortably leading in that race. 58% of voters have given him their support to 42% for the Republican challenger. In the election for State Auditor, another Democrat appears to be comfortably elected, with Patrice McCarthy on 59% of the votes to Republican Matt Hawkins, 41%. With incumbent Bob Ferguson seeking election as governor, we know Washington will have a new Attorney General, and in that race, another Democrat is well ahead, as Nick Brown is on 56% of the votes counted to Republican Pete Serrano's 44%. The election for Commissioner of Public Lands will also see a new winner, as Hillary France is not running in this election, and Democrat Dave Upthegrove is currently polling 53% of the vote compared to 47% for Republican Jamie Herrera Butler. In the election for Washington Insurance Commissioner, another Democrat leads in that race. Patty Kudera has polled 57% of the votes counted, with the Republican Phil Fortunato behind on 43%. And finally, in the election for Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Reichdahl would seem likely to hold on to his position. In tonight's results, he's polling 54% of the votes, compared to 46% for his opponent, David Olson.